Today we are going to jump into our time-traveling DeLorean, kick it up to 88 miles per hour, and travel back in time to 1972, where we will explore Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1 by Marvel Comics. Let's start off by acknowledging that this book is a legacy of first. Not only is it the #1 issue of Luke Cage and the first appearance of Luke Cage, but it is also the first appearance of a black superhero in his own solo title. Now, admittedly, Dell Comics did have a Western hero named Lobo that preceded Luke Cage, but as far as a mainstream superhero having his own self-title, a black superhero having his own self-title, that would be Luke Cage. Another first in this book is on the creative team. Billy Graham, the inker on this issue, was the first black illustrator to work at Marvel. Now, Billy Graham also went on to become the primary illustrator for this title for the next 14 or 15 issues of this book. And before coming to Marvel, Billy Graham was also the art director at Warren Comics. If you're familiar with Warren Comics published Vampirella. Billy Graham was the art director at Warren Comics, and some of his initial artwork appeared in the pages of Vampirella. So again, legacy of first in this book. Luke Cage was marketed as a superhero title. And to be honest, that is how we see Luke these days. We see Luke as a member of the Avengers. We see him as the father to his child with Jessica Drew. However, this first story, Out of Hell, A Hero, by Archie Goodwin and George Tuska, inks by Billy Graham, reads like a film noir adaptation. Luke is framed for a crime by his best friend, sent to prison, and while he's in prison, he is just brutally beaten by the guards. As we discussed in an earlier video, this book was written in 1972, early 1970s, very turbulent time for the United States socially. And a lot of what was happening on the social scene made its way into the pages of comics. So Luke was wrongly accused of a crime, sent to prison. While in prison, he's just brutally beaten by the guards. In order to gain a chance at parole, he volunteers for a experiment, and during that experiment, Luke gains super strength, and he uses that super strength to escape from prison. He escapes from prison, goes to Harlem, and sets up shop as a hero for hire, and then has to plot his vengeance against the man that wronged him. That is a very gritty film noir type of storyline, and something that you would not normally see or normally expect to see in a superhero title. It should be noted that a lot of times when we look back at this title, especially with Luke Cage, there is a tendency for modern audiences or for modern viewers to focus on, the things like, Sweet Christmas or cliche things like that about Luke Cage. But in his first appearance, there is none of that. Luke Cage is written as a very complex individual, and this story has very few superhero trappings other than Luke's attire here that he uses, and also there is a mention of Stark Industries providing the equipment that is used in the experiment that Luke volunteers for. But this book is very much crime drama and very much a product of its time. In many ways, to me, it's a book that is ahead of its time because this is from 1972. So this precedes movies like Coffee or Three the Hard Way, or Enter the Dragon, movies that had a diverse assortment of protagonists, this book precedes it. Luke Cage, number one, is a trendsetter when it comes to comics and when it comes to people of color and just diversity in the adventure protagonists. This book's a trendsetter.